You tap your card. Beep. You grab your coffee and walk out the door. The whole thing took about 1 second. In your head, nothing really happened. Money left your account, the store got paid, end of story. Except that is not even close to what happened. In that 1 second, 4 different companies you have never met had a frantic, high-speed argument about whether you can be trusted with $5. No actual money moved, and the one company that quietly walked away with a cut of your coffee was not the store, and it was not Visa. It was your own bank. Let me show you the machine you cannot see. Once you understand it, you will never tap a card the same way again. Start with the cast, because there are way more people in this story than you think. There is you, obvious. There is the store, also obvious. And then there are 3 companies standing in the shadows that you never signed up for, but who are deeply involved in your coffee. There's the store's bank. There's the card network, which is Visa or MasterCard, the giant set of rails that everything rides on. And there's your bank, the one that gave you the card in the first place. 5 players, 1 coffee. Keep them in mind because they are all about to start sprinting. First, the tap itself, because it is sneakier than it looks. When you tap your card, it does not simply broadcast your card number into the air for anyone to grab. That would be insane. If it did that, every coffee shop would be a feeding frenzy for thieves with cheap scanners. Instead, your card does something clever. It generates a one-time code, a unique single-use secret, different for every single tap. It is basically a password that self-destructs the instant it is used. So even if some genius standing behind you in line manages to intercept it, congratulations, they stole a code that is already dead. This is the real reason tapping is safer than the old swipe. The magnetic stripe handed over the same information every single time, like reading your number out loud. The tap whispers a brand new secret, then burns it. Okay, you've tapped. The race begins. Picture a relay race, except the runners are spread across the entire country, and the baton is your little one-time code. Step 1. The card reader sends your code to the store's bank. The store's bank looks at it and basically says, I have no idea who this person is. This is not my customer. So step 2. The store's bank passes it up to the card network, Visa, MasterCard, whoever. And the network is the one that actually knows the map. It looks at your code and goes, I know exactly which bank issued this card. Step 3. The network hands the question to your bank. And now your bank, in a fraction of a second, asks 3 things. Is this card real? Is there actually enough money to cover this? And does this look like fraud? Like, is this card suddenly buying coffee in 3 countries at once? If the answers are yes, yes, and no, your bank says one word: approved. And then that answer sprints all the way back down the chain. Your bank to the network, to the store's bank, to the little machine on the counter. Beep. Here's the genuinely wild part. That entire round trip, 4 companies across the country and back, multiple security checks, all of it happened in roughly 1 second. Faster than you could read this sentence. Now here is the first thing nobody tells you. At this exact moment, when the machine beeps and you walk out feeling like a transaction just happened, no money has actually moved. Not a single cent. Let that sit for a second. All your bank did was make a promise. A pinky promise that the money is good and is coming. Think of it like your bank shouting, "He's good for it," across the room. That's it. That's the beep. You walk out with a real coffee, and the store at that moment has been paid in nothing but a promise. The store basically has been paid in vibes. So when does the real money show up? Later, usually the same night. At the end of the day, the store takes every single one of these promises it has collected, every tap, every swipe, every order, and bundles them all into one big pile. Then it sends that whole pile off and says, all right, everybody, time to actually pay up. This is called settlement. And only now does real money start to move. It flows from your bank through the network to the store's bank and finally lands in the store's account, often a day or 2 later. So that coffee you bought on Monday morning, the store might not actually see that money until Wednesday. The beep is instant, the money is slow. They are 2 completely different events, and almost nobody realizes that. But here's where it gets good. because the store does not get all of its money back. Watch what happens to your $5 coffee on the way through the machine. At every step of that chain, somebody reaches out and takes a tiny bite. A few cents here, a few cents there, death by 1,000 nibbles. And the biggest bite by far does not go to the store's bank. It does not go to Visa either. It goes to your bank, the bank that gave you the card. This cut even has a name. It's called interchange and is the single largest piece of the fee. The card network takes a smaller slice for running the rails. The store's bank takes a slice for the processing. And by the time your $5 finishes running the gauntlet, the store keeps maybe $4.85. The rest just quietly evaporated into the machine. Now, stores have known about this forever. It is why a lot of small shops have a card minimum taped to the register. It is why some places give you a discount for paying in cash. They're trying to dodge this bite. But you're probably thinking, fine, that's the store's problem, not mine. I still got my coffee. Why should I care about the store losing a couple percent? Here's why. Why do you think your bank fights so hard to be the card you reach for? Why do they send you a new, shinier card every year and beg you to use it? Because of that bite, interchange. Every single time you tap, your bank earns. So they have every reason on earth to get you tapping more. And how do you get a human to do something more often? You reward them. Cash back, points, airline miles. That sweet little 2% back on everything that makes you feel like you're beating the system. But think about where that 2% actually comes from. Your bank is not paying you out of kindness. It is paying you out of the bite it just took from the store. Your rewards are funded by the fee the store paid to accept your card. And the store, watching all these fees eat into every sale, does the only thing it can. It quietly bakes the cost into its prices. A few cents on the coffee, a little extra on everything, for everyone, including the people paying cash, who get no points at all. So follow the loop. The store pays the fee pays your rewards, the store raises prices to cover the fee, and you pay the higher prices, which means your free points were never free. You are, in a slightly ridiculous way, paying for your own rewards. And the person next to you paying with cash is helping pay for your points too, and getting absolutely nothing back. So let's pull all the way back and look at the whole machine at once. 1 tap, 1 second. 4 companies you never think about, sprinting across the country and back, a pinky promise instead of real money, a second, slower river of money that flows hours or sometimes days later, a dozen tiny bites along the way, with the fattest one going to your own bank, and a rewards program engineered very deliberately to make you do the entire thing again tomorrow. You thought you were just buying coffee. You were feeding the machine. A quiet, enormous, beautifully designed machine that runs millions of times a second all over the world and is built so you never have to think about it for even one of those seconds. So here's what I will leave you with. The next time you tap your card and hear that little beep, you are going to know. You will know that no money actually moved. You will know that 4 companies just vouched for you in under a second. And you will know that your own bank just took its cut and is going to hand a tiny sliver of it back to you later and call it a gift. It is one of the most common things you do all week, and it is hiding one of the most elegant money machines ever built. And next time, go ahead, keep tapping away. You know what happens now. You're feeding the machine.